Welcome to the We Win Injury Law podcast. I'm Tyler Todd, your host, sitting here with my co-host, Jaren, the Snow Canyon man, Sandberg. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
This is an exciting little podcast we're going to get into because we're going to talk about and recap our 2025 year. Can you believe it's December?
No, it blows my mind. It's just gone by fast.
Oh, way too fast. I feel like yesterday we were in Miami at the National Trial Lawyer Conference.
Yeah. And me and Tyler have
that was in January.
We have a little meeting every December and set some goals for the next year, and it feels like we just did that yesterday.
Yeah, so we've done that today a little bit. We're going to do more of that, of course, going into 2026, but recapping a little bit of 2025. Let's talk about some of our big wins this year.
Couple of
good ones.
So quite a few $1 million settlements this year.
Let me strike that. Let me back up.
Okay.
I said some good ones. I don't mean to say it. I don't want to sound like that. Because good settlements just means that our clients were significantly and severely injured.
That's true.
So that's always a weird one because I hate when we have a good one, right? And it's seven figures, and then we call our client or talk to our client and say, that's great news. We have an offer of $2 million or $3 million.
What I'll say, and I'll start this off with the biggest win that came earlier in the year was a 6-year dogfight. So this was a case that took forever.
It was a dogfight.
And I don't know, how many depositions did you take in that case? 40, 50, 60, just a lot.
It was a lot. I don't know if it was 40, but there were a lot.
A lot of depositions. How many thousands and thousands of pages of medical records do we review? How many experts do we have to work with?
Yeah.
One of our more expensive cases that we've invested in, one of the things that people don't talk about is sometimes it's our time and energy into a case. This one had time and energy and a lot of money.
Yeah, because the experts don't come free.
Yeah. And
they want and expect to be paid for their services, and rightfully, but they're expensive because typically this particular case was a malpractice case. When you have malpractice cases, you actually have to hire doctors.
Yeah.
And nurses to be able to give an expert opinion regarding whatever the case is about.
And it's not just hiring any doctor. You have to hire one of the best ones.
Yeah. Someone that a jury was going to believe.
And I remember on this particular case, we had Nurse Rita was our expert, and I thought she was really good.
One of our experts. Yeah, she did great.
And so I that was the one I dealt with the most. But I thought that was considering what they offered before we filed suit and this 5-year lawsuit battle, it was a great outcome.
Some of that was COVID related, so it wouldn't have taken that long, but for COVID.
And when I say 5 years from the injury, so it wasn't this. There's some work that was done before we filed suit, then COVID hit, and so there's some things that made that longer than normal.
And it wasn't an easy case.
No,
this is. If we're going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, this was a very difficult case with very complicated issues regarding liability. The damages are what they are. When I say damages, meaning the injuries were bad. It was like they were bad injuries, and so again, that's why I say I'm not going to say to my client, "Great news."
But and I guess maybe this is helpful. Me outside looking in. Because when this case started with you, we weren't partners. This was even initiated before we were We Win Injury Law. I feel like this one took a lot of effort, a lot of good lawyering, and when you look back, great, I think great outcome, despite those things you've mentioned, which is what the client had to go through.
And this was an emotional one. We talk about, let's say, maybe most emotional case. This was probably like my most emotional one.
Yeah,
because and thank you for those kind words, not just because internally we thought it was a great result. Externally, I talked to a lot of people and a lot of lawyers that also felt like it was an amazing result.
Outstanding result for most outsiders looking in when we've discussed this case.
Given the facts, given like the liability issues, given like a number of things, we actually did consult with a number of experts that didn't like the case.
Yeah.
And we took on a lot of risk because notwithstanding some experts saying, we don't think you have a case, we took it on. And I think it was a great result, but emotionally it was a tough case because then my clients Some of them were, I think, satisfied, and some of them were not.
The main victim was
The
I felt
main
like was very
she was
kind
happy
and very
kind,
very kind to you.
but there were family members that were very and said some very mean things and hurtful things that I took personally because I thought we had done a great job.
Yeah.
And so that was tough to hear, and that was probably maybe why I was the most emotional, because I thought we had done such a great job for him, and then to get some of that feedback, I was like devastated.
Yeah, and,
I was devastated for a hot minute for sure.
and to be fair to a lot of clients, we talk about this a lot. If I had that bag of money, which was in this case was a lot of money, and I were to say, hey, this is what you're going to go through, and this is how it's going to change your life. Does this amount of money sound good? Will you go through it? No, you wouldn't. You would never agree to go through it. But given everything that happened and the laws that we have in the state of Utah, I think it was a great result.
That was why it's somewhat a bit frustrating, because never did I ever say that this was like a just
Yeah.
or fair, legally fair. Probably that more and then some.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah,
I don't
legally
know.
fair.
But was it fair?
Do they feel like they got justice?
No, of course
there's
not.
No
I mean,
number.
yeah, you're not going to change the outcome. But legally fair, it was a great result. So yeah, that was an emotional one. It was a good win,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
emotional case.
An unusual fact patterns. What any that stand out for 2025? Unusual fact pattern.
Yeah, we have one right now that immediately comes to mind. Is we have a gas line explosion case where it's just super interesting in regards to like the fact pattern of how it happened, what happened. There's experts that have been hired and retained, and even they have some interesting theories about how the explosion actually happened.
And even one of our experts was like, "We need an additional expert," so almost with an expert within an expert.
Yeah, so we've hired that expert. But one thought on that, and we're going completely raw. This is just straight from the hip. But it was really interesting because when I got the initial like intake and was reviewing the case and I was looking at a bunch of photos we had received, and then we had retained some experts, and I went out to inspect the property and where it happened and a number of things, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting one of the main focal points of where the explosion happened, this machine, to be completely destroyed.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be like burnt and to a crisp, and
Yeah.
how can we identify it? And I'm like,
what am I really going to be
what am I-
inspecting
yeah, what am
at
I
the site?
inspecting?
I'm going to see a burned down, exploded thing.
the machine was almost perfect.
Yeah.
No damage whatsoever. And this is a dryer. Okay, it's a dryer. It's an older one. So if you guys remember, well, they still have like lint. They still have lint things in most dryers.
Yeah.
But this was an old one. Okay, I do laundry. I do laundry. I don't clean out the lint things very often, admittedly. But I used to.
Brooke, remember to change the lint filter, because Tyler's not doing it
I'll
when he
do
does
more
the
laundry.
laundry.
But this was super interesting because this dryer appeared to have no damage whatsoever, notwithstanding being in an environment that was completely burnt.
Yeah.
Like
Exploded.
extensive damage to everything around it. Virtually no damage to the dryer itself, except for when I pulled out the lint thing to like just kind of like see whether that was normal. Completely fried.
Yeah.
So dryer, it smelled like smoke and fire, but visibly had no damage. But when you pulled out the lint thing, fried. Weird.
Yeah.
Black. Totally black and fried. I don't know. I can't explain it. And I've asked the experts, and they don't really have an explanation either.
Yeah.
It's just weird. So anyways, that's one of the unusual fact patterns.
Now, I thought you were going to go with it, and this was another what I'll call good outcome, great case outcome for our client. We had a case this year that dealt with admiralty law that was in our demands and things from Lake Powell. We had some water.
Yeah, You don't think
of Utah cases dealing with like ocean and dealing with the starboard side of boating accidents, and they don't happen as often. They do happen on smaller scales. We've had quite a few boating cases over the years, but this one I just remember thinking it was quite funny to see the starboards on the demand that you wrote. There was starboard side and different things of the boat and some boating terms and of admiralty law, and even the citations that were given to the defendant in this case was boating citations, but they sound like something you'd see it, I'm sure, in ocean faring places. They see those a lot, but we don't get as many.
We
here
don't
in
see that
Southern
very
Utah.
often. Not ocean case. We don't have very many ocean cases here. No.
Landlocked state.
But that case also, that when we talk about 2025 recap, and that case resulted in several millions of dollars in a settlement, which, and again, I think it was a good result for my clients. I think they were happy with the result. And could we have taken that case to trial and done more and maybe gotten more? Maybe. But that was something that I think collectively my clients were not really interested in doing. And to give my clients some credit, and credit to the at-fault individual, they were this is something that doesn't happen a lot. And I think it changes people's perspective on how they want to proceed with a trial or not. They felt really, really, really bad about the injuries that were suffered by my client.
Yeah.
And my clients, to their credit, really wanted that person to know that they didn't harbor any ill will or bad feelings, and didn't really want to cause any additional stress to that family by pursuing trial. So
it's interesting that we highlight those two cases. We talked about the one earlier that was the malpractice one, and kind of the sour grapes that it left you with how the client responded. And this one, a similar number and similar, very, very serious injuries. The two different, how the client received that, and very grateful for you, versus the other one felt like, again, I don't want to call it sour grapes, but yeah.
But that's two very interesting perspectives. But one more other kind of interesting fact pattern. This car accident case. So our client she's a single woman, and she got up and got dressed in her church clothes and was on her way to the temple. And this was in Washington County, Utah.
Yeah.
So this is the St. George. I can't remember if she was going to the St. George Temple.
She was going to the Iron County Temple.
The Iron County Temple.
So it must have been while they were still doing the repairs or building the new one, or something like that.
You might be right, but if I recall correctly, the at-fault driver who ran a clear red light,
didn't even,
and she testified in her deposition, she didn't even see the red light. She didn't even see the light at all.
Yeah. I did the deposition, so I might be remembering our clients wrong. I remember the deposition of the person.
So she didn't even see the light.
Yeah.
She also testified.
This is my favorite part.
She was going to the temple, or had just come from the temple.
And was listening to a conference talk.
That's right.
That was her claim.
So LDS Temple, she was going.
And I believed her. I'm not saying we disbelieve her.
Reason to not believe her, but one was coming from the temple and one was going to the temple.
Yeah, it was. The two, that isn't it. That's a fun fact pattern for Utah.
And somehow they wind up in a pretty significant T-bone collision.
Yeah.
It's a miracle, actually, that our client wasn't even more injured, because had it been head on, which it was close to being, it would have been even worse for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming from the temple and going to the temple,
what it was.
That was a wild scenario that happened. And then I've come to learn that the at-fault lady who was coming from the temple, listening to her conference talk, was calling my family members asking whether I was a really bad guy or not.
And I hope they gave him the right tea.
Okay, I wanted a reminder.
Which section is that one?
That she shouldn't have those types of questions or ill feelings coming from the temple.
Okay, let's speed round a couple of these. Okay, funniest and wild office moment.
Funniest and most wild office moment? Boy.
Or most emotional moment. Well, okay. Wildest office moment. We did have a mentally disturbed
yeah, that's true.
individual
Yeah, that was wild.
come into the office and barge into your office while me and you were having a meeting. And
She just sat down on the couch in my office and was not going to be.
I tried to feign that I didn't. She was speaking in Spanish.
Jaren was literally curled up like in a ball in the corner.
Curled up in a ball in the corner is
Maybe stretching it
a
little bit.
stretch. But I was trying to I felt so well, and you felt so awkward for the person too.
Well, we didn't know what was happening, and I immediately was
but
like,
she starts talking to me in Spanish. I can understand Spanish. I speak Portuguese, but I can't speak to her in Spanish. And finally, I just said, I can't speak Spanish. And she spoke to me in English.
yeah. And then I'm like, we're in a meeting, and she was like not having it. And then she got up and was like, looked like as if she was possessed.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like doing the whole shake her head up and down and saying, God has told me why I need to be here, and you guys need to listen to me. And then
she did actually predict something that had happened.
She
from
told
your past.
me, yes, God had
She's
told
like,
her
you
something.
don't believe me? Let me prove to you that how you can believe me. I'm going to tell you something about your past. And she got a vision, and it was about
in the moment.
What was the prediction? I'm trying to remember.
That I had been abused as a child.
And Tyler still wasn't ready to admit that yet, and so he made her feel really dumb. He was like that.
Well, I didn't make her feel dumb. I was just like, okay, that didn't happen, but that was a really wild moment.
That was the wild moment.
We actually had to call the police because she wouldn't leave,
and came back multiple times.
Yeah, we didn't press charges, but we had to actually have the cops come and
no, Sam was asking if you signed up the client.
Oh, did I? Oh,
no,
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about that?
Yeah.
Is that she legit called 2 days later to talk to me and then said she had an accident case. And then one of the staff members was like, hey, should we sign her up? And I'm like, we just called the cops on her. I don't think we are not going to represent her. So that was a wild moment.
So that's
they just asked if I wanted to press charges. I said no, just make sure that she leaves.
Okay.
So that was a crazy one.
So these are some growth moments. Let's see here.
Growth moments.
New attorneys joining the team.
Yeah, we had two new attorneys. That happened this year. That's exciting.
Both passed the bar exam, and that's stressful.
And we've hired a few new paralegals.
How many new staff members have we added this year? Let's see. 1, 2,
4.
4.
I think we have 4 new staff members, and we have a new office.
5 new staff members.
And we opened up a new office in Murray, which is our Salt Lake office. So we currently now sit at 5 offices.
5 offices. St. George, Hurricane, Cedar City, Orem, and Murray.
So that's been really exciting. And the growth that obviously we've experienced is a big part to serve this whole entire state of Utah.
Yeah.
And something that we want to do in 2026, and hopefully you guys will see this, is we would definitely want to make sure that our community knows that we're here to represent them, serve them, defend them, advocate for them, and to do as well as we can against the insurance companies. That is our ultimate goal. And so we've opened all these new offices because we wanted to make it easier too for people to find us and be able to meet with us, and so that's been a big, huge thing that's happened this year.
Yeah,
is that extra or additional office.
And I think it's been one, we've had more cases, so that it's allowed us to bring on those additional people and bring on more locations, and luckily people keep wanting us to keep representing them. We've passed another year where our biggest source of new cases is from old existing happy clients, either referring themselves for a second accident, referring a family member, or referring a neighbor or someone telling. We do a lot. People are familiar with our billboards and our TV ads and different things, podcasts, hopefully all 40 of them. But I will say that it's still a testament to us doing good work. And I think Tyler's got been doing this the longest in our firm, is a testament to the firm growth, that our still largest source of new clients and new people that we signed up comes from that past happy, satisfied clients. Again, maybe they were happy with the results because we can't provide true justice versus legal justice, but I think they were happy with the results of their case enough to then refer a friend or refer someone else to us.
Yeah, maybe you see some of our commercials. I think one cool thing too is we've had a number of defense lawyers that have been very complimentary of our growth and then working with us. It's hard because sometimes, look, I'm passionate. I sometimes will bite before I bark.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that can come back to bite me. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we have a really good relationship with a lot of defense lawyers, and I think they respect us. They respect our work. And as we continue to grow and have more cases go into trial, we're going to meet and work with more defense lawyers, and hopefully we have that same rapport with them as well. But I think it's a testament to, hey, we just want to fight for our clients, and we're passionate. That's been a cool thing to see, that type of growth.
But yeah,
for
so
sure.
2025, definitely a year of growth for our firm and for a lot of the stuff we're doing, and great results. Not only in terms of new cases, but in terms of, I think we've had some great successes with some of our bigger cases resolving, and
several multi-million-dollar cases, several $500,000, $750,000, several $100,000. Just
we've had our biggest months. One of the months we had over 30 policy limit cases where we were able to get policy limits for 30 different clients in 1 month. We've had a lot of really cool milestones.
Yeah, and those aren't just easy cases where the insurance company say we're just going to pay limits. Those are cases that we've had to, like, hey, if you don't pay this, we're going to do this, and we're going to hold the feet to the fire. And that's when they've said, okay, here are the policy limits, which is, I think, makes it a lot better.
2025 was a year of, we've done more depositions than any other year. Me and Tyler have probably done, would you say we average 5 a week for the whole year?
It's felt like that for sure.
I know that there's been some weeks where me and you were playing musical chairs on getting to this deposition or that mediation. And we've obviously had some weeks where it's not as busy, but that's a testament to, one, we just don't accept low settlements.
No, tomorrow we're in mediation, and then tomorrow morning we're in mediation. Tomorrow afternoon we're in depositions. And then Friday morning we're in mediations, and then Friday afternoon we're in depositions.
Yeah, we're deposing. So we're really busy with our litigation calendar, and that's been great. I think that's been really a really big year of growth in that phase. More cases than we've ever had before, and more good cases. I know that sounds, but not just smaller cases. I know a lot of, at least when we started out a few years ago, I felt like we had a lot of cases, but maybe some of them were smaller. We have a lot of big cases that matter to the clients, and
they matter to us. And I think that's what's the most important, is they matter to us. Each and every case matters to us, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that every case is handled and litigated, negotiated to the best possible. And so that's what I just love, that everything we're doing is fighting for the clients.
I'll give you one of my finishing moments. One of the moments I love the most of 2025. This was on a smaller case where we had a client that was injured, but I wouldn't say catastrophically injured. Her medical bills were, I think, in the tune of $14,000 or $15,000, and we settled that case in the 6-figure realm. And me and Tyler were maybe scratching our heads a little bit on the adjuster on where they came up with their valuation, which benefited our client greatly. But to hear that client break down, crying on the phone that this was life-changing for her. I think her and her husband were trying to buy a home with the amount of money she ended up getting as a result of that case. That was probably the moment for me that, and anytime a client cries, it's hard to, tears of joy kind of moments, but that was one of my favorite moments of 2025.
That's amazing. Yeah, and it's awesome that we get to do that for our clients. That's actually the coolest part, is I think there's tons of areas of the law. There's so many different things, and lawyers do good work from all types of things. But I feel like this is one area where we actually make differences in people's lives, and that's our goal. So if you feel like you may have a case, don't know whether you have a case, reach out to us. WeWinInjuryLaw.com. You can call us. You can reach out to us and DM us on social media. The consults are always free, so don't feel like you can't talk to a lawyer. They're always free, and you don't pay until we win. If you think you may have a case, reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you, and we're happy to tell you the truth. We want to be transparent, and we want to make sure that and are educated in that whole entire process. So reach out to us. It's been a good year. That was a good little recap, and we look forward to bigger and better things in 2026. And we honestly hope, I'll say this sincerely, and we mean this. Hopefully we don't ever have to represent you. Oftentimes we say, how are you? When people come into our office, we're like, we're here to meet you, so it can't be good.
It's not good.
And we recognize that. So we sincerely hope that we don't have to meet or represent you in 2026. But if you ever find yourself in that situation and have been injured due to the negligence of someone else, whether it be dog bite, car accident, slip and fall, premises liability, medical malpractice, whatever it might be, reach out to us. We're happy to help. And we're passionate about winning for you. Until next time, you guys.